So why is it so much easier to get a second or third DUI after you've already had one? Well, this is like anything in life. Once you've had an experience, that reality has sunk in with you and it's part of, again, your life. So that experience tells you that it's possible. Whereas before, someone like me, who all of my friends got DUIs, I never did, and I drove drunk way more than they did, I look around and I go, it's just not going to happen for me. I've had close calls, but you know what? I'm a better driver than them. I think about these things. All right. I used to listen to an Afro Man song called "Drive Better Drunk," and I have a playbook on how I'm going to drive to make sure that I don't get pulled over. All right. I was going to outsmart it. Well, when finally years and years and years later, I did not outsmart it. I, got sloppy or whatever it is. That reality sunk in. It's possible for even me to get a DUI. Even though I thought there's no way it's ever going to happen, all right, even I could get one. That reality sunk in. Well, I then, got sober. I've talked about this on my channel. I got a breathalyzer on my car. I got into AA, got sober, blah, blah, blah. Well, I then relapsed. And so although I didn't get a second DUI, in my head was this sense of like, when I drove, I was 100 times more careful because I remember I was, I did cocaine as well. And so I'm up, all night, and then I run out of alcohol. And so liquor store, I want to go to opens at 7:00, and I'm there and I'm driving and I'm at the stoplight. And at that time, there's an elementary school kind of getting going. It was like at 7:30, and my windows are down in my car. 2 motorcycle cops pull up right next to me. If I hadn't been wearing sunglasses, all right, I probably would have been pulled over again and gotten a second DUI, which is way worse in regard to a penalty. Because my eyes were whacked out. I'm whacked out, okay? I'm freaking, just completely full of alcohol and drugs, going to get more alcohol. And that reality is there. And so I had more close calls in those 2 months of my relapse than I had probably in 18 years of drinking. And I think a lot of that has to do with this psychological reality that makes it possible. And so you start seeing it more and it starts becoming another reality. In my DUI class that I had to take for the judicial system's punishment of what I did for the DUI, I was, had to take these DUI classes, and then you saw people in there and you heard their story. Second DUI, third DUI, fourth DUI, fifth DUI, people coming in and getting them. And the teacher talks about how it's so much easier to get that. But just think about the psychological significance of having the experience. One of the things that comes to mind is the 4-minute mile. The 4-minute mile used to be thought of as a physical impossibility. Human beings cannot reach that to run a 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. That was believed to be the truth. One guy goes out there and does it. He breaks the 4-minute mile. Later, like 2 months later, multiple people beat it. This was something that was for years and years talked about as an impossibility. One guy does it and the floodgates open. And then now, it's been beaten thousands and thousands of times since then. I think that was done in maybe the 40s or the 50s. And so it shows you that the psychological significance of reality, it really does play a role. I had this belief that I wasn't going to get a DUI, right? I had this idea out there, even with other people getting them, even people close to me getting them. But once that became a reality in me, it was like I saw it everywhere. I knew that this was going to happen if I kept going along. I probably, if I hadn't gotten back on the program and gotten back to where I'd probably have another DUI, because it just was there. And because I had that reality, it's almost like you start to see things more. It's like when you buy a car and you finally get this car, you get the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. You start seeing that car everywhere. There's a significance in your brain, there's this significant system. I think it's called the reticular activating system that makes things that are important. It makes things that are experiential. You've seen this, you've done this. You start to see it in reality. And I believe that you start to experience those things more. It's like if you have never kissed a girl before, okay? And you're like, man, like this would be an amazing thing. If you're a guy, a young guy, you never kissed a girl before, and it's like, man, it's like this would be so nice if I could do this, but you've just never done it, and it's not part of your reality, and sometimes you're like doubting, when is this going to happen? Blah blah blah. Then it happens, and then all of a sudden, all right, you kiss multiple girls, all right, and it's like that one experience allows all of that doubt and all of that uncertainty and all of that impossibility to be taken care of. And so I see it inside the AA program now, as you hear people and they get one DUI, they get another DUI, they get 3, they get 4. They don't learn until they have this, kind of a spiritual experience where they go, okay, I need help with this. I'm going to stop drinking, and everyone's on a different timeline. But you see how once that floodgate opens, it's the possibility for those things to happens over and over again. And then it becomes part of your reality. And then sometimes people go, this is just what I do. I get DUI. Some people, it's jail. They go, yeah, it's just what I just started living in and out of jail. Every couple months I'd go to jail. It just becomes a reality for them. You can make that or turn this into a positive as well. You can take things that you've never done before and use like the 4-minute mile and go, it's a possibility. It's there. Feel it, live it, try to experience these things and go out there and do it once. That's why like therapy and changing behavior is like, it's not about just making things comfortable. It's about challenging yourself at a level that's going to be a realistic thing that's not going to be too overwhelming. So you challenge and you keep getting closer. Like say if you have a phobia of something, it's not never go near that phobia ever again. I have a fear of going in elevators or flying planes. It's like the goal isn't go jump in an elevator immediately. Although that would help. That would help if you did that and realize, hey, wasn't that big of a deal? But most people, if they have a true phobia, they can never really get anywhere near it. And so it's like, it's just starting by looking at an airplane, all right? Looking at an elevator, then getting close to one, then going in a building and seeing one, then going to an airport and watching them fly. Like you slowly start to get closer and closer to that and making your body more comfortable with that. And this could be same thing with goals, like the 4-minute mile, right? You start getting closer and closer, and then you start saying to yourself, right, hey, this is possible. Someone breaks it. You yourself then go, hey, it's possible, all right? Then the way that you approach things, the way that you're training, all of that changes when that possibility is open. On the negative side, it can happen. On the positive side, it can happen. I've seen what happens on the negative side with DUIs. And that's why, I think my DUI was a blessing. Now, did I relapse? Yes. Everyone's story is a little bit different. Would the second DUI have been a blessing? I don't know. Maybe that would have been something that would have been too overwhelming for me to deal with. And I wouldn't have been able to recover from that. And I wouldn't have been able to deal with that stress. So sometimes that's exactly what happens. I hope for people that have, been like me and gotten one, that they don't have to go out and do another, that they realize that challenge, right, that they came to, open another door for them. And then some people, they're not like me. They're not addicts. They just got a DUI because of whatever situation. But if they were, there's this new possibility to go out and live a different way. And that's why I'm proud or I'm super grateful to be a part of this community in AA that helps people like me that can recover and continually take these steps to make myself live a different way, because I lived one way for such a long time. And with that came a lot of these challenges. And that's another thing. Just like the 4-minute mile, I didn't know, how am I going to live? How is it possible to live without having some form of stimulant or drug or alcohol or what to make yourself feel okay? I thought I was always going to have something, whether that be food, whether that be sex or porn, or I had so many different addictions in my life. I didn't realize that there's a different way. There's another way. And I get that. And that possibility, just like the 4-minute mile, I get to see people live that. They got 20 years of sobriety, 30 years of sobriety, 40, 45. I'm around people that have lived this day in and day out. And through all these different challenges, through things that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, they stayed sober through. I now know that that's a possibility. Whereas my reality, my circle, my people, like I said, all my friends got DUIs. They're all drinking, they're using. I thought I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life if I'm going to be sober. And I don't want to be alone, right? So I'd rather be drinking and ruin my life and get DUIs than have to be alone. And I got this new possibility. It opened these new doors. And this is why it's such a great thing to have support. But there is support for so many different people out there. And just like the 4-minute mile, there's possibilities. You break those barriers and you start to see it. It starts to become a reality for yourself. Sometimes you don't need that experience for it to help you move you along your way. Just like I didn't need the DUI to make it a reality in my head. I could have made that already, but that experience made it so much easier for me to then go fall into that. Now that I've gotten several months of sobriety and been happy and been able to, have fun, I'm like, oh, this is a reality. I can do this. It's still up to me whether I decide to continue along the path or not, but it's a reality now. And so seeing that through other people, listening to other people, and then having that experience solidifies it for me and makes it so much more of a concrete reality for me. So again, these things can happen on the negative. I hope that doesn't have to be that way for you. I hope that doesn't have to be that way for me as well. Like I said, I hope that I can, again, put one day in front of the other and not reach to a drink or a drug to get away from whatever it is that I'm experiencing, or to celebrate whatever it is that I'm experiencing, because I know where that's going to lead. Eventually, that's going to lead to me drinking and using every single day. And then, like I said, driving up to the stoplight with 2 cops next to me. And like I said, one little different change, all right, in that moment, my sunglasses aren't on, my windows are down, okay, my windows are down, my sunglasses aren't on, that cop looks over, I'm going to jail. And who knows where I am today because of that. I don't wish that on anyone. I don't wish that for myself. The positive side of things, the experience from other people, my own experience, that can lead me to shaping a different reality. Just like when someone broke the 4-minute mile, tons of people were able to do that after them because it changed what they thought reality really was. It opened a new possibility. And hey, maybe that possibility is there for me. So that's it for today. Until next time, I will see you then.